Torpy here, talking a bit about public speaking and, more importantly, conquering your fear of public speaking. Regardless of what job you do, what field you're in, you're going to want to get at least competent at public speaking. And maybe not, you don't have to be great at it. But being competent, at least able to get in front of a group of people, and even if you're nervous as hell and able to tell them what you need to tell them, then it's going to help you along the way. And whether that's getting promotions or whether that's selling to people and getting investors into your company or getting people to buy your product, public speaking is one of those things that it can only help you if you're better at it. And it's one of those things that I believe is never a wasted skill to learn. So I remember as a teenager, in high school you got to get up and give talks occasionally. And I remember giving a speech, being nervous as all hell, just absolutely shaking, and get up there, start talking, and if you're giving a speech, you got all these fears. You got people aren't going to like it. People are going to think I'm some kind of freak, and your self-talk before, at least for me, it used to be very horrible before I gave a speech, and it didn't help. As in high school, you make one mistake, you say something wrong, all the kids would sort of give you, tease you about it, and if you don't pronounce words properly, which I think there's some things some sounds I used to struggle with and wasn't very good at speaking. It was quite quiet, so got teased a lot, which also made me not really want to give speeches as well, so that did not help. So it actually took me a long time before I decided to become good at public speaking, or maybe not good, but at least get to a level where I'm not terrified of it anymore. I got to a point in my career where I felt I wasn't getting ahead, wasn't getting any sort of positions of authority, and kind of felt stalled. And one thing I noticed about the people who were getting ahead weren't necessarily the best at their job. They were better at getting up in front of people, talking, and generally better at the whole social side of things rather than necessarily being better technically. So that's when I decided that I was going to get better at public speaking and actually finally conquer my fear of it. So things that I would do to do that is, now I wasn't actually quite a quiet person, not speaking too much, so I've made a point that if I was in a meeting or something where it was appropriate, I'd actually say something, whereas before that maybe I wouldn't say anything. So small steps, didn't have to be anything huge, and just sort of, if I saw someone that I knew, actually go up and talk to them. Now this is pretty simple stuff, it's not really anything that's too hard for most people, but it really depends on what level you're at as well. Like everyone's at a different level, so if that scares you, then start where it scares you a little but not too much, and then just keep building on there. Now eventually I actually started going to Toastmasters, which I'd thoroughly recommend. Now the good thing about them is you can go there, give a speech, they'll give you hints on, or they'll give you feedback on what you can do to improve. But the best thing is that it's a very supportive environment. At least everyone that I've been to has been very supportive of people, so they know that people are quite nervous about it and kind of can be quite fearful of public speaking. So I think in that aspect they're great. I think as you get more advanced, it probably becomes a little less useful. But to begin with, to conquer your fear of public speaking, definitely recommend Toastmasters. Can't recommend them enough. And the other thing is, I'm not always great at this, but if there's an opportunity to give a speech and get in front of a group of people, you just instead, like, even if you're feeling fearful, you just go ahead, do it. Now, I remember that when I first gave speeches in Toastmasters, my legs were absolutely shaking. I could hardly stand. Funny thing was, after a couple of times, people would say, like the first few times, people would notice how nervous I was. After about third, fourth speech, I was still shaking. My legs was actually shaking because I was still so nervous. But people were saying that how confident and calm I looked. So even if you're scared of giving a speech, if you keep practicing, you at least get that nervousness under control. Maybe you don't completely conquer it, which I know I'm still nervous if I give a speech, but I think I can actually look confident giving it now, and it's nowhere near as scary as it once used to be. So pretty much the secret it boils down to is you do it. If it's a little bit scary, do it. Don't have to jump right in, even though that's not a bad way to do it either. If you do it take as big a steps as you possibly can, and you just keep practicing, keep doing it, and eventually you get better. And that's how I've got to my level now, and it's also why I'm doing these YouTube videos, is so that, again, these are quite, I've got to admit, these are actually quite uncomfortable for me at the moment. So if I keep doing it, the next one's going to be better, and within a month they're going to be pretty damn good. Anyway, that is it for today. So I think I'm not going to choose the next topic now, but I will be back tomorrow.